Hello, beautiful angels. It is Olivia Grace, and I am back with another video for you guys. And I am not even going to lie, I am nervous. I'm really nervous about this video because I don't like to stir the pot, as they say. And I definitely don't like to offend people or bash people's beliefs or anything like that. And that's really not what I'm doing in this video. But it's just something that it's on my heart to talk about, that God has instructed me to talk about. And I'm going to talk about it. So before I get into it, I want to just preface this by saying that everything that I'm saying is coming out of love. Number one, everything that I'm saying is coming out of love. Anything that I say that sounds like a judgment or anything like that, I don't mean it to. Number two, I'm talking from my experience, okay? And this is huge, you guys, because I really want you guys to know that I am not trying to convert anyone or trying to say anyone's belief is wrong or anything like that. I don't believe in that anymore. I used to be a person that believed like, well, whatever way, that works for me is what's right for everyone. But I know that all is God's will. Everything that is happening is God's will. And everybody's path is different. And that's okay. And that's really the big message of this video, is that everybody's path is different, and that is okay. Okay. Now, okay. I have been, just talking about me, I have literally been on both sides of Christianity and of manifesting. And I've also been atheist. I have been pretty much all over the board with this. So I grew up Christian. I went to church every week, twice a week. So I was very much into church, into, Christianity. But it did not resonate with me, but I was afraid to question it. So it took me, going out on my own, going to college to question my beliefs. And when I did question it, I figured that didn't resonate with me. And that's how I became atheist, or agnostic, really. Because I wasn't claiming that there was no God. I was just like, whatever I know doesn't seem like exactly right. And from there, I moved into manifesting and, the universe and things like that. So now what I have been hearing is that there is a coming together between these two. So my purpose emotions are freedom and connection. I feel like religion embodies connection, and I feel like manifesting embodies freedom. But the two are at odds with each other. And I won't even say religion per se embodies connection, but just like spirituality, having a connection with God, that embodies the connection. So I feel like what I've been hearing is that I'm bringing these together, and bringing connection into manifesting, and bringing freedom into spirituality. And so I'm going to start by talking about Christianity, or in religion, basically organized religion. And there is a ton of beautiful things in religion, because many religions are ancient. This is a time where people had a genuine, authentic connection to God. There was no TikTok, or, there wasn't really books you could read up on God, or, not even really many churches or things like that. Like these people, and I'm talking about in biblical times, I'm talking about back when, you know, in all these times when all these goddesses and gods were like, you know, upon the earth and things, this was a time where their connection to God was one-on-one. You know, these people were experiencing God themselves. Moses did not read about God. God came to Moses, okay? So, because of that, there is a lot of truth. There is a lot of esoteric. I know that if you're Christian and you're listening, you probably won't like that. But when I say esoteric, I mean otherworldly. It's not of this world. It's not of our comprehension, right? So there's a lot of that in religious texts. And because of that, it's a lot of good things in there. But religion, the texts have been manipulated and changed and translated. And not only have they been done that way, but they've been done that way by people that will benefit from your fear. And that is the big disconnect for me with religion. It is very fear-based. It is very, I mean, I wouldn't even, when I was younger and I started to question, I was just a little kid. I literally was looking in the children's picture Bible when I began to like question in myself or just feel in myself like, I don't know, that doesn't really make sense or add up with this other part that I read. But I was so afraid, you guys, let alone asking an adult or someone at church or anything. I was afraid to even have that question inside of me. And when you cannot question what you believe, and I know that all churches are different. There are some churches that welcome questioning, and I think that's good. You know, but you know, when you're afraid of burning in hell, that doesn't leave a lot of room for exploration because God gave us free will, right? But I want you guys, and this is, again, this is not me trying to tell you that your religion is wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying these are some things that was questionable to me. God is a perfect being. God is, he's perfect. There's nothing that God can't do, right? So why would God, a perfect being, create imperfect beings, expect them to strive for perfection, and then punish them if they don't? If he's a perfect being and he can create, he could have created us anyway. But why make us imperfect so that we could choose him, find, you know, Jesus, or find this specific religion, and this is the only way to God? Now, religion, you guys, is 9 times out of 10 inherited. If you are born to Buddhist parents, you are most likely going to be a Buddhist. If you are born to Hindu parents, you're most likely going to follow Hinduism. If you are born to Jewish parents, you're most likely going to follow Judaism. If you are born to Christian parents, you are going to follow Christianity more than likely. Now, knowing that, and then knowing that, well, if you don't follow it, even let's say if you wanted to, but if you know that you're going to be heavily persecuted, which in a lot of other religions, you know, in some Islamic religions, if you know, it's the same thing. If they, let's say they wanted to come to Christianity and they happen to come across it, they're one of the lucky ones that it appeared in their reality, even though they're born in a place where that's not a thing, you know, but then they can be killed for that, right? So it just, to me, it just seems like it doesn't make sense to me. And again, I'm not saying that disrespectfully. I'm just saying that if you're a mother, right? If you're a mother and the doctor says, here, take this pill, this is going to ensure that your kid doesn't have any, deformities or anything like that. And then you say, no, I don't want to take that pill. I'm just going to go, whatever. I'm going to leave it to chance. And then your child comes out with a deformity and you're like, oh, well, no, you need to give this one away or kill it or something because that's not what I want. Even though you had the chance to make that decision. You had the chance to choose perfection, basically, is what I'm saying. So that part doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing about it is that I feel like in religion, it's so much based on fear. It's so much based on intolerance. There is no, oh, I can see that, I can see that you believe this and I can respect that. It's very rare to find that in religion. And it's almost like people feel like they are the owners of God. Their religion is the only God, or their God and their religion is the only God that there is, and no one else can talk about God. No one else can have a relationship with God unless you're doing it this way. And if you're not doing it this way, then you're blasphemous and you're all of these things. So that doesn't resonate with me because that's not unconditional love. And that's the big thing, you guys. That's not unconditional love. Jesus taught unconditional love. God is about unconditional love. That is what God is about, beyond religion, because religion in any form, you guys, is man's interpretation of God. It is what man has come up with based off of his or her individual experience with God. Not only is so there's God, there's man's interpretation, then there's the priest or the holy man that delivers the message, his interpretation of what this text is saying. And then there's your interpretation of what so it's all of these in-between things instead of going directly to God. You can go directly to God. You are not, and religion teaches you that you're just this unworthy, sinful being. You're a horrible person. There's nothing you'll ever be able to do to be good, but, try anyways, but all the time know that you're horrible. Like, that's what religion is teaching you. So of course you're not going to think you can go directly to God. And when there are people, like I said, that benefit from your fear, benefit from the control that they can control through religion, when there are people that benefit from that, of course they don't want you to know you can go directly to God. They want you to go through them so that they can tell you what to think. And you guys, I did not experience God. I had read all the Bible stuff. I'd gone to church all the times. I talked with all the people, but I did not experience God until I sought God for myself. And I just encourage everyone watching this, to do that too. Now, let me hop over to the manifesting side because y'all might get pissed off too. And it's okay because I'm just being real. I'm just telling my experience. I'm just telling my opinion. Again, I want to say I am not telling anyone to believe anything different. Believe what you believe what works for you. But if you're wondering about this, or you're interested in this topic, or you want to hear someone's experience, then this is what this is about. And just one more thing too, for the people the Christians that may want to type me a message or whatever. If what you believe is true, the judgment day will come. I will die. I will be judged before God, and God will tell me what he thinks of me. So there's no need for you to insert that here. Thank you. This is a public thing, so I'm sure, people will anyways, which is fine, but I'm just letting you know if that's what you believe, then God, let God do the judging. Now, for manifestation. Okay, Law of Assumption community. Kind of got into it. Well, really got into it. And I love the Law of Assumption. I love Neville. I think it's extremely liberating. it's really advanced manifesting, to be honest. It's advanced manifesting. But when Neville says that the only God that there is your imagination, here's my problem with that. Okay. Imagine, all right, Grand Theft Auto. Do you guys know the video game Grand Theft Auto? Or if you can think of any open world video game that you know of. Now, there's a character in there, and he is, let's say there's a 7-year-old playing it, and he's controlling the character. Now, to the character in the game, if he was to become aware that he was in a game, if he was to become aware that someone was playing and making him do everything he does, making all the people in his world are a part of this one game that he is in. And he became aware of that. And he became aware that this kid, Seth, is God. Or is playing him. Wouldn't he assume that Seth is God? Wouldn't he assume that, oh, well, this kid is the one making all of this happen. He must be God. How can he know? If his whole world is encompassed in just this game, that's all he knows. Nothing outside of that. And he knows, okay, this person is affecting this game that I'm in. He would assume that Seth is God. But we know that Seth is not God. Well, God is in Seth, of course, but Seth has a mom. The reason Seth is there, someone gave birth to Seth. He has a mom. He has a bedtime. He has all these things, right? So he is not the ultimate creator, right? His mom, even his mom, she's not the ultimate creator. There's all these other people that are, quote unquote, greater than Seth, or more knowledgeable, or more in charge of things, have more of an influence, excuse me, than Seth. So, but from the person inside the game, they can't see all of that. They can't even imagine or fathom how big our world is, let alone our galaxy, our universe, the expansiveness that is, right? So now, I do believe that our imagination is a access to God. I do believe that we are gods of our reality. I do believe that Earth, our experience on Earth, is kind of like a simulation of sort. It's something that we are like projecting out and creating. I even believe that there is a high being meditating us or dreaming us, as Neville says, and that we are in that dream. But I cannot say, now I'm not saying it's not, but I cannot say with confidence that that is all God. That is the only God that there is, and there's nothing else beyond that. And in my experience now, because I've started to question that, I'm starting to feel like it's not. And I don't know, maybe I'll come back, because I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm not claiming to know it all. I'm not claiming that any of this, I don't know, who knows? But from what I'm feeling, what I'm experiencing now, it's more than just your imagination. In a way, if that makes sense. Like, yes, this experience, yes, you are creating this experience, but there's more than this experience going on. Which I think that we can all pretty much agree on. So now what I noticed too with law of assumptioners is that Neville has become God. Neville has become kind of like Jesus, right? With Christianity. In Christianity, people, they worship Jesus, but Jesus is the manifestation of God. Jesus is basically like a messenger of God, a example of God. Neville, I feel like, is the same thing. Neville is obviously a manifestation of God, an example of God, but he's a teacher of his experience of God. So when we take every single thing that Neville says out of his own experience as fact, not to be questioned, again, now we're back in the box. Now we're back into basically our own little religion, where you can't, I mean, it's kind of crazy, like being on the Reddit, and even like the pages or whatever. People are so, if anyone has anything different or a question or anything that's not exactly what Neville said, they're like down their throat, you know? And I get it, because, you know, it's Neville is right about a lot of things. Is he right about everything though? And I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that we can't be sure. We can't know that. A lot has happened since Neville. A lot has happened since Jesus. There could be more for us to discover, to be, to understand, to know, but we're not going to know those things if we don't explore those things, if we're not open to, what does God want to show me? What does God want to tell me? What is, you know, what does God want to express through me? And really seeking a relationship with God beyond. And how I got to this, you guys, is my best friend started telling me, like, I'm just, you know, I'm going within. I'm tired of looking at all the books and all the videos and all the teachers. I want to go within and see what God has to tell me in my heart. And I had to think about that, like, and that's kind of what sent me on this ride that I've been on, is like, when you think about God, or you think about, like, when you think about what you know right now, right? How do you know these things? Pretty much everything that we know, someone has told us. Someone has told us. And knowing what we know about assumptions, knowing what we know about what you believe becomes true for you, well, how do we know anything? How do we know? Like, literally everything that we know has been told to us. And the thing about a spiritual journey is that a spiritual journey, you get to know God through experience. You get to know God for yourself, aside from what a book says, or what a person says, or what your favorite YouTuber says, which is why I tell you guys in every single video, this is my opinion. This is my experience. I cannot tell you what your opinion should be, or what your experience should be, or what's right or what's wrong, because truthfully, you guys, there is no right and wrong. There is, like, there's this person's experience based off of what they've experienced. This is this person's choice based off of what they've chosen. Like, I can't say that this person that believes this is wrong and I'm right. Their experience led them to where they are. My experience led me to where I am. They're both valid. And it's funny, because when I started connecting with God, I didn't even want to call it God. I literally was like, can I call you something else? Because I just, to be honest, I didn't want to attract the religious people that were going to tell me how I'm, you know, evil and I'm, you know, blasphemous and whatever. I didn't want to attract those people. I didn't want the manifestation community. I didn't want you guys to think like that I had like gone back to religion, or that I was like, you know, holier than thou. And, you know, I had all these things in my head. And so I asked God, like, can I call you something else? You know? And God said no. He said, or it said that it wanted me to call it God, because the name God has gotten such a bad rap from religion. Religious gods are so, and again, this is just my opinion, this is just my experience, but religious God, in comparison to the real, or not the real, but the like, God is love, period. God is not love with a little bit of condemnation and hatred and separation, and you over there because you're not good enough. God is love. God is love. And that name, that is why people don't want to they call it the universe. When they call it the universe, they're saying all that is, all that exists. But God created the universe. God, my friend, had to remind me of that, you know, that God created the universe. So yes, God is the universe, but God is also over the universe. It is the creator of the universe. I think creator is a good name as well. Source is a good name too, but God specifically asked me to use that name. And it's just crazy, you guys, because manifesting is in the Bible. Manifesting is all about faith. That's it. Like, it's all about having big faith. It's all about believing in what is not clearly seen. It's about having faith. It's about love. And that's the thing, you guys, with when you move beyond, and this is what my guides were telling me, was basically when you move beyond manifesting an SP and manifesting, you know, millions of dollars or whatever, you can seek God and you can find this love in your heart. You can find this love that you are. You can find God within you, literally. Not finding God within you as a technique, as, okay, let me find God within me so that I can get my SP, you know, but really finding God within you. And you guys, when I tell you, I don't worry anymore. I don't stress. I still go through it. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Since I have been on this journey of getting closer to God and releasing these emotions that I've been, like, you know, the fear, the doubt, the unworthiness, it has been deep. It has been deep. I spent majority of yesterday crying, like literally, you know, it's deep. It's a lot coming up for me, but God is always there. And God is always there healing me with love and reinfusing me with love. And invigorating me and renewing me and uplifting me. And it's like reflecting in every area of my life. Everything is reflecting in every area of my life. And I just, you know, for those of you that are interested in that, because honestly, I think that manifesting, it's a great place to be at. You're still understanding oneness. You're still understanding your relationship with your reality, you know, and you're creating a beautiful life for yourself. So if you're happy there, hey, be happy there, you know. But if you're looking for something more, if you're feeling that missingness, and I feel like this is happening. It's happening all around because so many people are looking again for God. And if you're feeling like something's missing, I encourage you to seek God. Just by praying, just by intending, just the same way you would manifest and obsess over all these other things, just seek God and just see what happens. See what happens. I, for one, was terrified because I was like, the last thing I want to do is go back to being a Christian. And if you're a Christian still watching by now, please don't take that offensively. Just for me, it was not. I don't like judging people. I don't like feeling boxed in and feeling like I can't be who I am or who I want. So that's why Christianity doesn't work for me. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I was not with that. But, you know, so that hindered me for a while. But don't let it hinder you guys, because God does not belong to Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism. God does not belong to religion. God was here before religion. Okay, God invented the people that invented religion. There is an ultimate creator that is beyond all of this, beyond even a lifetime of seeking what you could understand and comprehend. And it's here, and it loves you. It wants you to know that you are loved, and it wants you to connect with it. It wants you to communicate with it if you so choose. It really wants you to do what you want, because when you're doing what you want, literally you're still doing God's will. It doesn't matter what you do. You're still going towards God, because at the end, that's where we go anyways. So I'm going to end this here, and I intend that this resonates with some of you guys. I'm like, I can't even imagine like what you guys are going to say or what people are going to say, but you know, God told me to do it, and you know, I'm not scared, so it's all good. But I love you guys, and I love you guys. I'm just wishing so much happiness and joy for each of you, and so much peace. And I can't wait to talk with you guys more about what I'm finding out. So I love y'all. Talk to you in the next video.